Hi there, welcome to Monetize Your Business podcast conversations in partnership with FNB. My name is Hetty the Entrepreneur, and let me tell you, I am so excited for this week's conversation. You know, we're always bringing you amazing, fabulous entrepreneurs, and Papa Biz, we are talking media, communications. I mean, this is all things that's right up our alley. Are you excited?
This is going to be good. I'm looking forward to this conversation with Tshepo. We get a lot of questions around how to maneuver in this type of space, especially for entrepreneurs. And this is going to provide the key insights.
100%. Very, very big space for entrepreneurs. So I'm looking forward to unpacking as well. So let's go over to the man of the hour himself, Tshepo. How are you?
Very well, thank you, Hetty. And how are you? And how's it to Papa as well?
We are very, very, very good. And we're looking forward to today's conversation. Media branding space. I think for entrepreneurs, we actually can't shy away from these things. It's now become an integral part of our businesses.
Absolutely.
So I'm looking forward to us unpacking. But before we do that, maybe you can just introduce yourself a little bit to us. Who is Tshepo? If a person doesn't know you, how do you introduce yourself? And just tell us about maybe your earlier beginnings and context for us.
Sure, and thanks for the opportunity. So I'm Tshepo Leatile Gaelae. I'm a Tswana boy, originally from Taung, but grew up in Soweto.
Taung?
Yes.
Hey.
Yeah.
Okay, I know that.
Finally, somebody who does.
No, I grew up for a while in Pampierstad, so I know
Okay, that's
Taung.
very close to you.
Yeah.
So that's home. I grew up in Diepkloof, Soweto. I'm with my grandmother and then my mother there as well. And then currently I am married to Mrs. World 2020.
Hey,
I'm
listen to this.
telling you, recently crowned, by the way.
the
listen
first
to this.
episode.
Wow.
Absolutely gorgeous, phenomenal woman.
Yeah,
Good decision making there.
Well done.
Well done.
Well done.
thank you. We've got one boy together called Bikanyo, which
Lovely.
the business is named after, and
that's nice.
the meaning of it is commitment, and it's all about that commitment to the cause, to
Yes.
purpose, to finding solutions, to making a difference really in the spaces that you occupy. Grew up in Soweto and currently in Centurion. From a studying point of view, some PR and communications,
Lovely.
and still busy with that as well. And corporate life, funny enough, I've never been in the corporate space, in the communication space. From a corporate point of view, I've been dabbling in the supply chain, FMCG, contact center management. But a lot through it, the centerpiece there being leading people, managing people, and creating big things with people. So,
Yes.
brief background on me, and I'm a lover of music, in the art space. I'm passionate about networking. I'm passionate about creating something new and really making a difference in society.
Lovely.
Oh, cool, man. So how long were you in Taung?
I've got a home there. So I was born in Soweto, grew up in Taung, then Soweto again.
Okay. So in between.
So in between. But every year, it's kind of like a pilgrimage. We go to Taung,
Okay, and your family, when you grew up, were you only child? How many other siblings?
So I've got an older brother. It's the two of us. And my mom and dad. My mom is late. So I've got my dad left. So once he retired, he moved full-time to Taung, and we were with my mom and my late grandmother as well in Soweto.
And what's the age gap between yourself and your brother?
4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're the last born there?
Yeah, the last one.
The sports one. Okay, cool. That's great.
Arguably.
We can debate that. Oh, that's amazing. So tell me something. I mean, naming your son such a powerful, strong name, such as commitment, is there evidence of that you saw growing up that kind of inculcated your view of the world from that perspective?
Not knowingly so, but in retrospect and reflecting, actually, that's when I picked up that, okay, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I've always been that child who did something different. My brother was into sports, very brilliant in sports. It's very good from a technical mathematics. I've been really good in the art space.
Okay.
And had a very good passion for language, for literature, for music, the arts. He was a bit of both. He's a very good artist, also good in maths. And obviously my mom was a teacher and obviously directed us in, okay, you need to get that kind of line and be educated and that focus. And obviously my lead was my brother.
Yes.
And naturally I have to be good in maths because he is.
Yes.
I have to get into swimming and in athletics because he is. And so I got a point to that, all right, if I be good in something different, I better do something really good. I read do it very well to show that actually it's possible to do something different and actually make something out of yourself. So I think the commitment levels in just being true to the cause start around there, and I think it makes sense in retrospect when we named our child Bikanyo.
Yeah.
Okay, and then so what did your mother teach?
She was a foundation phase teacher.
Okay.
So the numeracy, literacy, and languages there.
No, it's interesting. I mean, both my parents were teachers, so you growing up in a teaching household. I mean, they're very, very specific when it comes to education, getting the best out of not only the system but from yourself.
Correct.
And especially like with marks and grades. I mean, of course, sports important, but just going ahead on that path. When you look back, how do you find what? Let's take it in terms of high school. How did you find yourself there that might have spoken to the entrepreneurial angle that you took? Was it always there, or were you always just a studious child and taking in terms of what your mother requested from you?
I'd say it really picked up in primary school. So I went to one school from grade 0 to 12.
Okay.
I was that child. Same as my brother as well. And growing up, my mom was a soapies fan, naturally. And there was Generations. And I think I took such keen interest in the Ezweni communication, that ad space. And that's how
It was very aspirational.
Yeah,
hey?
it was.
I loved it, yeah.
And that's exactly what I did at school. A couple of my friends were like, guys, we're starting an ad agency.
Yeah.
Wow.
We had a whole name. We had people doing ads, and we'd do mock-up ads of literally anything: a pen, a book, what we're studying for the week, then a Nike shoe, whatever the case may be.
Wow.
And that kind of aspiration drew in there. And then obviously had to focus on the school and the grades, and that kind of fizzles out. And then it came back again when during school as well, as I was head boy at school.
Oh, nice, look at
part
that.
of the SRC as well throughout the high school. So we were involved in the talent shows, the school events. And that's where I got the really keen interest that, okay, this could be something. Because obviously in that you interact with brands, you interact with media personalities, and the organization, the conversations, the coordination, that just triggered me that this is something that I want to do. I don't know if it is a career. I don't know if you can do well in it, but I definitely want to have a dab in it. And I think that spirit, that's where
That's so interesting because, sometimes when you look back in one's childhood, there's different interests. You take in something and you're not really sure where it's really going to lead to. But you find it's interesting to you and to somebody else, I'm completely not interested.
Yeah, exactly.
and then it takes you and ignites something that can actually push you far forward in adulthood. So it's actually quite interesting how you put it like that. Okay.
Yeah, it's so interesting because it really does speak to how what we see and what feeds us as young children actually then impacts on where we think we can see our lives developing and going. And you saying that you were also a head boy, that makes me think that there must be somebody in your life that was really speaking into you that made you feel as though I can go for this, I can be a responsible person, I am, because you also become a bit of a role model to other students within the school as well. Who were your kind of foundational role models growing up?
Definitely my grandmother.
Okay.
So my grandmother was a teacher as well.
Oh, wow.
And when I was supposed to go to, so I didn't go to any kindergarten, crèche. I didn't have that. And when my mom also became a teacher, and it was now the age that I needed to go to kindergarten, crèche kind of setup,
Yeah.
she retired. So, okay. You'll be my first student, and that was my crèche life. And I think from there, that's where I got the foundational teachings. Obviously, having that very close relationship with her, and the foundations of you can, if anything that resonates, of my purest memories of her, is that you can, you are able. If you want to do it, go for it. Just do it well. And I think that was my biggest role model, who really carried me through that. Obviously, I'm big in doing something different. In the family, I'm that, okay, we're all doing this, then I'll go the other way.
The troublemaker. This guy.
Well, I don't know if it was trouble, but being different, definitely.
Curious.
Yeah.
I like that.
And with that, she always gave me the, you can. Don't break things, don't hurt anyone, don't disrespect anyone. Respect God and fear God. And if you're comfortable and you're happy, go for it.
Okay. Now, you spoke previously in terms of the career path that you're taking around supply chain, FMCG. So where did the idea come from in terms of, let me move now into creating something around branding, and talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think from a branding perspective, it's always been there, and it always starts with the self-brand. I was very big in, okay, how do I portray and depict myself as a brand? And I think from the high school kind of years and being in a leadership position as a head boy, I always was quite conscious on what brand or what type of leader am I trying to portray, what type of student am I trying to portray as a role model. And also kind to balance the act of, okay, I'm still the last born child, I'm still a brother, I'm still a friend.
Yes.
At that time. So I think the biggest thing is that I'm staying true to the cause, and just really trying and falling into spaces. And I think from a corporate point of view, my career history is just falling into things. But what I realized is that when I fell into it, I absolutely grabbed it, because I don't know what's going to come from it. Is going to be the next big thing. But I always had a true conviction that I'll learn something from it. Either a lesson or a setback, but I'll definitely take something away from it. Yeah.
And often for me, the questions that we receive often, and that we delve into, especially for those who are in corporate, is often they're so afraid to start.
Yeah.
You know, there's a little bit of an idea here or a little bit of idea there, but they never start. So how did you start?
I think one of my biggest fears is being comfortable. And I think that propelled me to start. That I think I was at a point where I was comfortable in a job or in a stable job. Things are aligning, things are coming together. But I was uncomfortable with being comfortable. And I'm always a person with ideas. And it can be sparked and sourced from different things that I see, media that I consume, people that I meet as well. And I always had these series of ideas, and then I was like, okay, in this comfortable state, what can I start with? And there's an array of options. Myself and my wife, we met through the Mzansi Youth Choir. And
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you can sing?
I could.
Oh, okay. Okay. Listen, guys, me, I also used to be in the choir.
I think he's being modest.
I was in the choir as well. It was for 2 weeks, but I was in the choir.
It counts for something
It counts
somewhere.
2 weeks, 2 weeks.
So even in that, it was the creation of, okay, not just being a chorister, but being a lead chorister, and being a head boy in that space, and eventually being offered a directorship role in that NPO organization. Nice. Has always been, all right, what next can you do? Don't be comfortable. What next can you make out of it? even in the space that you're in. And a lot of the times we look out on what's out there or who can help me out there. But really, most of the answers are just where you are. There's always something that you can create from the spaces or the environment or the place that you are, that you can create something big.
You know, when we talk about branding, because it's such a buzzword, and often at times people will often say, you know, I'm a brand, I'm building a brand. And I sometimes suspect that we are using the word synonymously with other things. What is a brand? What does it mean to be a brand?
Brand is an identification. You identify amongst others, amongst the space, the market. Who are you? What are you? Because there needs to be a distinction between what BKCorp Corporation is versus another corporation, and then a brand exactly that. And it takes time to build.
Yes.
It takes time it has to be well thought out as well.
Yes.
Because it has to link to something. It's not a standalone. It links to what you're trying to achieve, what impact you're trying to make, and what difference you are in the market. So for me, that's a brand. It's an identity and an intentional identity too.
And how does BKCorp Corporations help entrepreneurs and businesses bring their brand to life?
Definitely. So I think that's a core passion.
Yes.
And I bring out there, and it's probably 95% tailor-made. We first understand what are your needs,
Yes.
who are you as a client, and we build something directly speaking to that. Because a lot of times people looking for branding or print media or a campaign, but that's all generic. So I think the first thing we do is understand, okay, who are you,
Yes.
and what are you trying to achieve, and then bring a proposition to you to be able to help you achieve it, because it's all about creating journeys and us journeying together as well, because fairly new in the space, or we're trying to grow as well. So I think that in that kind of model and setup, we also allow ourselves the opportunity to grow.
Yes.
and journey with people, and also gain some insights.
Okay. And typically, what are your clients like? Who's your client?
So a lot of NGOs, religious organizations as well, from a corporate space as well, but also avoiding kind of the conflict being also in corporate. So those are the basic kind of client space, but a lot of self-starting brands as well. And for me, that's the passion, because it's new, it's fresh, and you get a lot of leg room to grow, for it to be creative and create something new as well, where a lot of established brands are quite they've got to figure it out on what exactly
Yes.
what they want. They want execution and delivery, and absolutely that's what we do. But I think we lose out on creating something new and expanding.
And then you'd mentioned previously as well that you've worked with some artists as well, things like that. What type of artists?
So it was a lot in the music space.
In music, okay.
Yeah.
okay.
So we've done a double with Pila Matlingozi.
Okay.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, so I think he was the first. Yeah, he was the first, and just propelling end to end his career. So he's in the acting space and music, taking a break on the acting and now focusing on music. So that was a
How was
trial.
that?
It was interesting. It was challenging. It was interesting, and also, yeah, I think the biggest thing was challenging. I had to step out of myself quite a lot, because one, we were being in the choir and being the type of choir, we did international tours and collabed with established artists as well. So that space and arena we're quite comfortable and familiar with. But with now stepping out and actually being behind the scenes and seeing the brand, growing the brand, and the artist. From a technical point of view, from a PR point of view, and from a social being and well-being as well, was really challenging and also enjoyable because there was exciting moments. We got an opportunity to try new things and create new relationships and opportunities. So challenging, exciting, but definitely worthwhile.
And you mentioned previously that when you work with these, with your clients, sometimes it'll take you into the space of working and engaging traditional media, and then other times even on the digital and social media front. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Sure. So a lot of the traditional media is a lot of our clients who know what they want are really looking for execution and delivery, and we kind of stay in that lane, but our focus then becomes, okay, how do we make you distinctly different? How do you make you stand out? But again, it's linked to really understanding who you are, what you're trying to achieve, where have you been, and what kind of the things make you tick, and trying to understand that. So we really create a value proposition, even using traditional media, which the power of it is that it brings in the masses, it speaks to the right doors and the people and the target market.
I just realized something quickly. Yeah. For some of the people in the audience that are listening, what is traditional media?
Yeah, for those who may not know, maybe the distinction.
Yeah, we use these things. I'll just say, what is traditional media?
Traditional and digital media.
Yeah. So the traditional media is exactly that, what we're traditionally used to. So your radio, your TV, your print, as well. Traditionally, how we consume information. Your newspaper, your radio bulletins, your radio interviews. Then that also in their space has evolved. A newspaper, what we knew it as something different now.
Completely different now.
But excitingly through. People evolve, and so should the media space as well. But the fundamentals are exactly that, in trying to communicate, educate, and reach a certain kind of audience through a direct line of communication.
Absolutely. Gosh, it's such a fascinating and interesting space. What do you think are some of the mistakes that entrepreneurs make, especially in the very beginning when they're trying to build their brand, they're trying to establish themselves, find themselves, create a bit of visibility and awareness for their businesses? What are some of the mistakes that you typically find them making in that building phase?
I would say wanting to be perfectly right at the first time. It's important to just try.
Yes.
Because a lot of times you want to create the email, the website, have the office space, have the business cards, have the direct line, and all those. But really what you need to focus on at the beginning is get your idea, have that on lockdown. Understand really what is your idea, what you want to do, and then the rest really works itself out. Because I think a lot of the time we want everything to be perfect, which is unrealistic. But also, there's so many things, especially when you're entering into the entrepreneurship kind of world, there's so many things that you wouldn't know anyway.
Oh, sure.
So there's no way in trying to get it right the first time. And also, when you don't get it right, it's really important to be patient with yourself.
Yes.
And understand yourself and pace yourself and keep trying. Is I think the learnings and some of the opportunities at the beginning space from an entrepreneurship point of view.
Absolutely. Do you think that businesses can really make it in today's day and age without the digital space, without, let's say, leveraging social media, using things like email marketing, trying to push themselves from a visibility perspective in those spaces?
I'll say probably not. And it's all about using what's available
Yes.
and accessible. Uh, when you're trying to scale and grow a business, a brand, you always take feet on what is there available to you, what do people consume,
Yeah.
and put yourself in those spaces. And if you're not, then you're not going to be consumed, and that's the reality of it. The danger of it is, of course, you need to be well aware and self-aware in the, let's call it the realm that you're entering, because it is huge.
Yes.
It's hard to quantify, and it could go either way.
Yeah.
So you need to be mentally prepared that it could go either way. But again, if you understand your idea and you believe in your brand, then you'll sustain yourself. You'll go through it. You'll grow through it, and then you propel. So it's there to be used and take advantage of. And if we don't, then I think we're just setting ourselves at a disadvantage.
Absolutely.
I wanted to check, are there any interesting stories where you've engaged with your clients within this space, and whether it's been a traditional media interview that has taken place or a campaign that's been run where, you'd like to share with the audience, that was something of interest to you, or you felt, oh, this is really good?
Yeah. The thing, especially at the beginning, I took on a whole lot. Obviously, I was excited about branding and media and communication and corporate communication. And anytime a potential client or client asked the question of, can you create a certain piece of material, my answer was probably 90% yes. And where the actual fact, I didn't.
Yes.
But I made it my job to make it a yes, very quickly so. I think in that you then become in spaces, and you kind of turn the impossible to possible.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I think that's the niche that I kind of entered for quite a period of time. The only thing is that it's very high pressure and very daunting as well, because you just have to make it happen. I think a client of ours, their previous client, they had a huge event in the province of Limpopo.
Okay.
They're based aside, but they were hosting it in Limpopo.
Okay.
And it was at a stadium, so the branding visibility there was quite
Sure.
key.
Can you imagine?
Obviously, they had their whole material and the plan, identified a service provider, and to them, all systems are go. And it is now the event is the weekend, the Saturday. Gives me a call on Wednesday. Yeah, they can't deliver.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm like, okay, you're in a twang. What's your plan? And the response is that you're my plan.
Listen to this.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, okay. What do you need? And the detail was one. In the first detail, there was things missing already that I didn't get right. And it's really the impossible. And this is an evening. This is Wednesday evening, not Wednesday morning.
My
so
goodness.
I've lost out on a day
To
actually ascertain, can this be possible or
yes.
not? So one is getting the actual items,
Yeah.
getting them right, proofread, signed off, getting the packaging of them right, and then the logistics of getting them to the venue on time. So there again, I use my operati mundi on, okay, who are you? What do you want to achieve? How big is this to you?
Yeah.
And I quite understood, all right, this means it's huge to them.
Yes.
It's their annual event, probably the biggest
Yes.
event to them. So it's really important for them to stand out and be good. And then that's where your black book of
Yes.
a key context
Exactly.
comes out.
Yeah.
And also having a clear understanding, all right, if we can deliver this, it's going to cost you something. And I think we had the perfect understanding from the onset that, all right, this is going to be an expensive exercise. Are you willing to engage? And are you willing to, is it that important to you? And once all those answers were yes, we executed.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, thanks for that, man. And wow, I mean, with time now, as we're looking to wrap up already, I wanted to check with you: are there any lasting statements that you or encouraging words that you'd like to leave for a budding entrepreneur that's out there pushing their business they've just started, or they're within the business for some time and they're just looking for some inspiration?
Sure, no pressure. So one, have an idea, and we all have an idea, but believe in your idea. And once you believe in your idea, start. You may have and be in a good job, be in a good space, and we a lot of times have many reasons why we can't start, why it's not a good time, why it's not a good idea to go solo or start something or be on your own. But have the same effort that we place on stating and listing impediments, have the same effort and energy in listing why you can. And once you do, then really the sky is the limit. But always bring it back to purpose. Have a purposeful business, because that's what sustains it through the troughs and drifts. That's what sustains it through a bad month or a bad day or a bad year even. Stay true to your purpose.
Gosh, those are just such fantastic words, and I think it's definitely going to resonate with our audience of entrepreneurs, because often at times we kind of, we're swinging between being seriously motivated and then those crashing lows as well. So I think that's definitely going to encourage them. As we draw to the end of this conversation, Papa Biz, what have been your key takeaways from this?
I think the one thing that I've taken away, when the question around, when an entrepreneur is engaging in the branding space and what to be looking out for, and just in terms of, waiting for perfection, and that perfection causes delays in starting and moving forward. And I liked how you explained it's important to start with what you have, move forward with that, and the rest will come. I mean, we all know that, you cannot steer a parked car.
Yeah.
And in the space, especially in branding and getting your message out there, you don't know what you don't know. So it's good to start, and the rest will come over time.
True.
100%. If somebody's listening to this, Tshepo, and they're thinking to themselves, oh, you know what? I think I may need the services of Boikanyo Corporations just to help with my branding, help with conceptualizing what I'm doing. How can they get a hold of you?
Sure. So we're in the media space as well. So Instagram is your best bet. It's BK Corporations on Instagram, also on Facebook. We're also on Twitter space as well. But the best place will be Instagram. Pop me a DM, a comment. We're quite fast in getting a hold of you. And yeah, let's create solutions and let's make an impact.
I love that. I think for me, my key takeaway is when you said, listen to why you can. I love that, because as entrepreneurs, often at times, we always convince ourselves of why we can't do something and why we should postpone, and we make excuses, etc. But seldom do we actually listen into why we can do something and really push ourselves forward. So thank you very much for that. So that brings us to the end of this podcast conversation. I have thoroughly enjoyed it and really gotten some great nuggets as well. I think it's so encouraging to know that you can be from Taung and growing up in Soweto, and you can have a vision for your life that propels you to become a leader in school, propels you to become a leader within even a recreational activity such as being in a choir, to business as well, and really move forward with excellence. So entrepreneurs that are watching, Which part of this conversation did you enjoy the most? Let us know within the comment section. Make sure that you're following us on all social media platforms. That's Monetize Your Business. And until the next episode, bye-bye.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.